Thomas here and welcome back to another video. So today we're back here for another speed build, and today we're going to go ahead and build this Italian villa. So if you'd like to go ahead and download this for yourself, it is up on the gallery now. My origin ID is RealThomasTV1 and there will be a link in the description to the online gallery if that's an easier way for you to download this build. So this build, like I said, is an Italian villa and it is a 3-bedroom home, I think. Now kind of like normal, I've been kind of very ahead of my schedule the last couple of weeks. So I've kind of sort of forgotten a lot about this build since I built this. So I built this on the 31st, I think. No, the 30th of January. It's currently the 10th of February that I'm doing this voiceover on, and I think this is going up. I'm going to have to check my calendar here. On the 13th, I think. So that's just a few days away. So, you know, doing this far ahead is kind of, I forget some details about the build. But looking through the screenshots, I think there's 4 bedrooms, 3 or 4. And then for bathrooms, it's probably going to be around the similar amount. But if you go to the gallery, it tells you the correct amount there. And yeah, so this home is built on a 40 by 30, I think it is. Yes, 40 by 30 in, of course, Oasis Springs, as you can see. And I don't really build in Oasis Springs that often, but I was looking to kind of build something this particular day that I did this on, and I was kind of just looking through my builds ideas list, and an Italian villa was one that was kind of like, oh, that seems a little bit different, so I decided to go ahead and do that. So it's kind of like a very square sort of shape, though. That's kind of what was making me think after I'd finished it, like, I'm not too sure about this build. I think it's a little bit too basic looking on the exterior, but I kind of, you know, did a little pop out with like the glass roof thing there. And also as well as a nice big pool in the back garden and a hot tub and stuff, and some balconies as well. So I'm really happy how it turned out. It's inside and everything. It's just the shape of the house, like how it's a little bit more square than usual. But you know what? I feel like sometimes my houses can have way too many pop outs. It's kind of like hard to decorate sometimes. So maybe this is kind of just like relaxing a little bit with that. So we're just working on the window placement and stuff, and I decided to go with these windows from Get Famous, because I haven't really used those that much actually. They're kind of a very particular style, and it's kind of hard to put them into a normal suburban home, I find. Sometimes it works, but for some particular occasions, especially when I'm building like in Whittleton Bay, it never really fits that well. So it's kind of an opportunity to use it here. And as well, I use those base game windows as well on the top floor, the white ones. Well, they're not actually white, they're from, well, base game, but I think I used it in my 8 sim base game house that I did last week, I think it was. And the thing is that these windows are very nice, and they're kind of just a little bit different for something for me to use, because I always tend to go for the cats and dogs ones, as you probably know. But the thing is with these windows is that, you know, they have like the brown swatch which they normally come in. And then they kind of have a load of other base game windows that match that sort of colour swatch and style. But then only some of them, like these ones here, these 2-tiled ones, have a load of different colour swatches. But the other ones, which kind of are the same style and stuff, don't have them. So it's really frustrating because it's kind of like, you know, there's not many different types of things you can use in base game, unless you're going for like, you know, the medium wall height and stuff. But I always tend to go for the small wall height, and sometimes I always have a little bit of trouble when it comes to deciding on windows for base game builds. So I mean, hopefully we get an update so that adds some more colour swatches to the other types of windows of that style, but I don't know. Anyway, so we're just working on the backyard area here, as you can see, and I thought, you know what, this is in a hot climate. I kind of wanted the pool to be the main kind of focus of the backyard area. So you can see it's kind of in the middle, it's kind of very grand. It's got some pop outs as well. And you can see here as well, I was trying to put a gazebo in, but I had to extend it a little bit and play around with it a little bit just to kind of fit that in, because I was having a little bit of trouble there because the pool was in the way. I could have maybe just moved the pool, but you know what, I managed to get it work in the end. So the backyard area itself is pretty small, but you know what, it's kind of got the things you need. I didn't really put any kids' toys or anything, or like kids' activities like the jungle frame and stuff like that. So, I mean, but that's kind of normal for me, because as you know, I keep all my builds neutral, so it's easier for you to fit any type of family into one of my builds. But the other thing as well, I feel like this home is maybe more of like a house for a younger person. I think that's kind of what I had in mind when I started building this. So, you know, like a big backyard area with a big pool, probably have a lot of parties and stuff, and that's kind of my mindset for this build. But of course, you can use it for a family, that's totally fine as well, it's up to you. And yeah, so we're just kind of, I was trying to put a little dormer thing there on the top, but the roof wasn't really allowing me to do that, so I just had to miss that one out today. But you know, the roof still looks okay without it. Most of the time I do put them in my builds because I feel like the roof can sometimes, especially on bigger builds, can be a huge roof and it kind of just looks a bit like plain, and adding a dormer in like I was trying to do there kind of just adds something else to it, and just something else to look at on the exterior, but sometimes it doesn't work depending on how low you have the roof in, so this was one of those times it didn't work. But we'll also have a garage there, as you can see, like normal. That is changed into a gym because I feel like it's good use of the space. That's what we did there. And again, one of my fountains that I've been putting in pretty much all my builds recently. I've kind of done it for a while, but I've kind of just noticed recently I've been doing a lot more. I don't really know why actually, but well, one of the reasons is that I've said this before in the last couple of builds, but it's kind of a nice way to kind of fill up the space on the grass without just having another huge big flower bed. So that's kind of why I've been doing that, and it kind of has some flowers in it, but also the kind of water kind of takes up the main space. So we're just getting this out of the way here, which is a little gym. I just decided to do this first, and it's just a tiny little room, but it's got what you need in it. And I sometimes feel like maybe even the small gyms, like the small garages, which are changing into gyms, they still kind of have a lot of equipment in there, like, you know, 2 treadmills, maybe you not even need that, so even for a small room it does have quite a lot of stuff in it. So we're just doing a little bit of outside lights, and actually I don't know when I stopped doing this, but I've noticed that I don't really do outside lights anymore. I mean, I do like the porch lights and stuff, like outside the doors, like exterior doors, but I never really do the thing where you put the pool lights inside the flowers and stuff. I've kind of stopped doing that for some reason. But sometimes I do get those big lampposts from cats and dogs and put those in, but only really in builds that are infinite and B and all kind of big builds. I tend to put those in sometimes, so I don't know if that kind of bothers you or not, but I just tend to not put them in anymore. I don't really know why. But yeah, so we're just working on the interior now a little bit. We haven't finished the exterior, but like normal, I just like to switch things up these days in my builds, just to keep the kind of speed build video itself a little bit more interesting, so I'm not doing the same thing over and over again. I'm literally just flying around the build in different areas, just doing it a little bit at a time. So this is the kitchen here, as you can see. It is kind of small, I would say, but it does have a double oven, which is totally unnecessary, really. It kind of just looks nice and keeps it centered, so that's why I decided to put that in. But if you kind of want an extra counter or something, or you have another appliance you had in mind that you wanted to put in here, then you can maybe take out one of those ovens and put that in instead. That would totally work. And this room as well is pretty big, so this is also the dining room. So we'll have a big dining table there, and as well, I think we'll put a piano, if I'm not mistaken. I'm looking through the screenshots and don't actually see that, but I do think we'll put like a bar in or something as well, so you'll see that which we're working on now. And this kind of extends out on that little glass roof bit at the side, so it's kind of like a conservatory kind of added into the main part of the house, and it's kind of nice to kind of sit there for entertaining and stuff, and it's like a big like room with a glass roof and stuff. It looks really nice, especially at night time as well. I suppose that would look good too. And yeah, so we're just kind of working on getting that in, and I don't know, actually I kind of remember now, I don't think we'll put a bar in the dining room there. I think we'll put it somewhere else in the build. I'm pretty sure it's either in the living room or something. Yeah, it is actually, because I'd make like a big living room thing, not big living room thing, a big bar area in the living room, and it has like one of those dividers from Vintage Glamour, and it kind of just looked a little bit fancy. So you'll see that shortly. So right now we're just working on one of the bedrooms. Again, nothing too special about it. And you know, the interior, it isn't too different from one of my other builds. It's kind of, you know, it's got more of a, fits in Oasis Springs a little bit better, but you know, there's still that suburban kind of style here and there throughout the interior, and I feel like that's just because I do that a lot, really. So I don't really know a lot about Italian architecture and interior design, so you know, that was kind of hard to do. But saying that, as you can see, the bathrooms are a little bit different from my normal kind of creamy coloured tiles from Parenthood. I didn't use those today, and I went for some more kind of Oasis Springs fitting type of stuff. And yeah, so this room right here is the study. Pretty small room actually today, but it's kind of got what you need in it, so you know, that's alright. Also, I just want to say a quick thank you to everybody who's been supporting my Instagram recently, because the luxury underwater home build that I did the other day kind of blew up a little bit, and it's kind of close to 4,000 likes as I'm doing this voiceover, which is crazy. So I'm kind of like totally blown away by that. So thank everybody who's been kind of liking that build. I know from the previous underwater mansion build I did, which was a few months ago, I think, that was really well received. So I'm really glad I did another one, because I could kind of tell that you really liked that one. And I do actually have another underwater build coming up this week, I think. which is it this week? I'm kind of all over the place because, like I said, I'm kind of a little bit ahead of my videos, so I'm not really too sure where I am, but you know, there will be a one coming up either before this build or just after it. I'm not really too sure. But yeah, so this is the little bar area I was talking about, and kind of just to switch it up because I always end up just putting the kind of the thing from, I think it's Get Together, is it? Like, kind of like the wall decoration of the bottles on the kind of those bright shelves. So I always tend to do that, but to switch it up, I just kind of use that divider from Vintage Glamour, and I thought it was kind of like an interesting sort of design, and I kind of just didn't, you know, I've done it before. It's just something to kind of switch it up, I suppose. So that's what I did there. And that is in the living room, by the way, just because I couldn't really fit it in the dining room. But you know what, nothing wrong with that. And the living room as well is kind of split up again. So it's kind of got the dining room area. Sorry, oh my god, I'm a total mess. It's got the bar area, and then it's kind of got the fireplace with the 2 armchairs. And then it's got another section which has got like the big windows with the kind of, you know, more informal type of seating. And also as well the big TV as well. So it's kind of 3 little areas in one room. So now we're back on the exterior, and again we're just kind of doing a little bit more furnishing, and we're just kind of doing some little pool decorations and stuff like that, and a few chairs in here, and we're also going to do that thing as well with the, because you can see those little dividers I put up, and we're going to put a hot tub there as well. I mentioned this in the last build, I think, or was it the last build, or maybe the one before that, or something where I did that same thing, and I was kind of just explaining how, the reason I do that is sort of like a privacy thing, because when I've been on holiday before to lodges and stuff, and they've had hot tubs, they always have those kind of, like, it's like slatted divider walls sort of behind it, to kind of for privacy. So that's kind of where I got that inspiration from, and I do that actually kind of a lot. And it kind of just makes the hot tub stand out a little bit, I think, in the backyard areas, having like that sort of thing behind it. Because I feel like it's kind of a nice luxury thing to have, so kind of nice for it to stand out, I suppose. And yeah, so just working on another bedroom here, and this one is kind of a purpley themed one. You know, like normal, pretty much every single one of my builds just have a purple room somewhere. Just because, well, I've mentioned it before why I put purple rooms in, but just because of the nice kind of items I have in games since Seasons, I kind of match purple really well, so I always tend to go for that now. At least one room in the build does. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and probably wrap this voiceover up here. We've kind of got like a minute, actually, probably a little bit too soon to wrap up the voiceover. I thought we're kind of nearer to the end than we actually are. So it's like a minute left of the video, and then there's about like a minute and a half of screenshots. If you don't know, I do actually, because I know not a lot of people actually stick around to the end of the build, but at the end of the build I always put screenshots of the build, and like, you know, things, or different rooms, because, you know, sometimes when I'm kind of, because I don't really like my speed build videos to drag on for so long, I normally kind of, you know, sometimes I might have to cut bits, you know, out here and there, which means, you know, you might miss a little detail or two here and there in the build. So if I ever do that, the screenshots always have you covered, because I have everything in the screenshots. I don't put the bathrooms in the screenshots, but you do see that, you saw it in the video earlier on anyway. And yeah, so we're just working on this room here, which is the last one in this build, I think. And yeah, so I'm gonna now go ahead and wrap this voiceover up. I really hope you enjoyed. In the comment section down below, let me know about what you thought of it. If you have any more suggestions for builds or anything else you want to see on the channel next, that'd be really helpful to hear. Leave a like, share and subscribe if you haven't, and you can go ahead and download this from the gallery. My origin ID is real Thomas TV1, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!